and gentlemen, boys and girls, Dying Time is here. That's right, we are concluding our journey through Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, on Kill by Kill. Well, greetings and salutations, Internet. It's your old pal Patrick Hamilton coming to you once again from Camp Crystal Lake, or actually my office, where I'm currently sweating and running 101 degree fever, because that's how I like it. And this is the Kill by Kill podcast, where we are dedicated to celebrating the least discussed component of any horror film, the characters. We will be unpacking all the gory details of Friday the 13th Part 7 in the hopes that a partier's untimely end is just the beginning of the jokes that we can make about them. And as always, there's only one person that I trust to help me combat a resurrected serial killer psychically. The one and only Gina Radcliffe. How you doing, Gina?
Don't worry about me. How are you doing? I understand that everything is on fire and that you are now roaming an apocalyptic wasteland.
On this side of the world, everything's on fire. On the other side of the world, everything is wet or windy. So it's a great time to talk about telepathic murder. The good news is that we are not alone, Gina. Our guests today are comedians and podcasters who, in their podcast, discuss the young adult pulp fiction of their awkward youth, the one and onlys, Lindsay Katai and Kelly Nugent. How are you doing, ladies?
Good.
Yay!
This is Lindsay talking.
This is Kelly talking.
One of you should either clap or wave your hands in a very, loud way.
Yeah, I'll just, every time I talk, I will preface it with Lindsay. So every time I have a thought, I'll be like, Lindsay, oh, I liked the scene, as if addressing myself.
And I'll just go, hey!
Oh, a character. No, that's perfect.
Listen, I'm fun.
Perfect. Now, if there were ever two people that were just right for this particular edition of Friday the 13th, I would think it's actually you two, because while this movie has various, Douglas Sirk melodrama elements, it also has a weird young adult sort of thriller element to it, in which we have a killer, but we also have someone who is imbued with paranormal abilities, and that's something you guys have come across quite a bit in your journeys through young adult books.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's definitely serving us some Carrie realness here.
Going RuPaul.
Yeah, going RuPaul. She's so angst-filled. Beautiful hair.
I love Tina.
I liked Tina. I was Team Tina.
Yeah, I was also Team Nick. I wrote that in my notes.
Oh, yeah. I was medium Nick.
Okay.
He has some things going on for himself. I mean, he looks good in jean shorts. He's got that over me in droves.
Every shot of him, he has aged 5 years. He looks older throughout the movie.
I just appreciated his behavior. He pretty much, it didn't take long for him to believe Tina, and he saw evidence of what was happening and didn't keep trying to deny it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he backs way off and is like, you got this.
Yeah. Well, he's like, throw me in a boat, Jason.
and he never once tries to use her as a human shield.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
Which is a real... that's sort of a deal breaker for me.
Listen, Dr. Cruz is a real issue for me. He's like, I was like, oh, that guy wears sandals during your psychiatry treatment, sits on the edge of his desk, tells you to call him Paul. He's very aggressively not like other doctors.
So you think this is he's a cool doctor sort of play?
Well, I think at first, and then he aggressively turned into I'm going to do experiments on you in the woods.
I will say I was like, I think maybe Dr. Cruz doesn't have the best of intentions, seeing as how he is the villain from Mannequin 2 on the move.
Yes.
Typecast for life, that guy.
Yeah, we've denoted many of his previous appearances in cinema history. He was, of course, a corpse that sort of lampshaded two guys trying to get one over on the company they were working for and also get laid. Not once, but twice.
Yeah.
And then he also put Tammy's boyfriend's brain in a T-Rex.
Oh.
Yeah. He's the doctor from Tammy and the T-Rex.
Wow.
So he has a rich history in Hollywood, and it's all on display here. And I guess something we've asked all of our previous guests on this particular movie, I was hoping maybe either of you two might know the answer to this question. What is Dr. Bad News Cruz's plan?
I feel like, okay, right, so he's like, first he's like, ooh, yay, she can do telekinetic things. So my plan, is he gonna like sell her to a museum?
The answer is yes,
Kelly
apparently,
right.
according to that bell.
Well, because it felt very like he wanted to like take her into the woods and agitate her a bunch so that way she would perform more.
I thought he was writing a book. That was my theory, is that he was compiling all this for evidence to put in a book to make himself famous and do the talk show circuit.
I'm picturing like old timey like Frankenstein stuff where it's like do a presentation to a group of people in white coats and be like, look at this feat of a man and like present her on this stage and have her do like various telekinetic tricks. Yeah.
So like a King Kong sort of sitch where he brings her up there on a platform and then she makes a TV wobbly move across a set, stuff like that.
Yeah, and then all of the flashing lights are going to agitate her even more, and then she'll, like, inevitably have an explosion of power and then cause, like, some kind of small-scale riot.
Oh, from your lips to God's ears.
God hoping, like,
God willing.
May that
crossed.
be what happens.
Well, yeah, let's use the secret. Let's just hope and put good stuff into the universe, and maybe the universe will pay it off down the road.
Mm-hmm.
That makes about as much sense as anything. We really can't quite figure out how you make an agitated psychic girl into $$. We're not, is it volume? Maybe that just works for carpet. I don't know. It's just hard to equate, no matter how many tax breaks you get. I just don't see how this turns into pure profit.
Well, and it doesn't even seem like he has absolutely no control over what she's doing. So I'm not sure why. Yeah, I'm not sure like where he would be going with this.
That's why I really think book. And he's kind of
too
the same
sinister
as
for a
the
book.
doctor in Terminator 2. Where just keeps provoking Linda Hamilton to talk about doomsday.
Here you have someone who can actually, do something. I guess he's taking her out there to see what will happen. That just doesn't seem super scientific. I don't know why I'm asking for professionalism from Dr. Bad News Cruz.
Well, my question is, why doesn't Tina or her mother at one point go, this isn't psychiatry?
Well, yeah, because he's like... Well, first, like, there's so many red flags with this guy. The suggestion to bring her to the place where she killed her dad telekinetically, already issue.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
It's not in the AMA. No.
I don't think so.
And then
maybe
also,
in the 80s it was.
Like, I'm just imagining being the mom, right? And the psychiatrist being like, hey, like, come with me into the woods.
Yeah, let's all go
Let's
together.
all go together like a family. Like, I'd be
like
what?
a weird family. I did think it was going to be that like the mom and Dr. Cruz were dating.
There was undeniable sexual tension between them until he used her as a human shield.
How many people have you asked to deny this? Because I have a feeling that I might deny it. I'm not entirely sure how much.
Undeniable to Kelly.
Oh, it's on.
I'm with you on the denial side.
Ooh.
I'm going to put forth a no.
It's a thick sensual tension.
Not sexual,
That too.
Sensual.
Okay. Like a heavy sax sort of sitch.
Yeah, with like gauze like floating in the wind. Gauze. Ooh, that's macabre.
Gauzy.
Yeah. Taffeta.
A real meatloaf, I'll do anything for love,
Yes.
but I won't do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I can buy that. So before we go any further with our philosophizing about these characters, there is a bit of business to take care of. So, Lindsay, let's start with you. When was the first time you saw a Friday the 13th movie?
Today.
Perfect.
This is the first Friday. I haven't seen Nightmare on Elm Street. I haven't seen Friday the 13th. I haven't seen one of the other ones. Is there like a third that people always talk about, like these two?
In terms of like a horror icon or things that came
Oh, I've never seen a Halloween movie.
Okay.
That was the other one.
Yeah, in that sort of slasher milieu.
Yes, I have seen Scream.
Okay.
That's about it.
So, in terms of that, did you feel how they talked about slasher movies in Scream comported with what you witnessed? And
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
Way more so than I even expected. I was like, wow, they were not fucking around. These tropes are real. As soon as you have sex, you are dead. Or maybe before you have sex, you're dead.
Yeah, well, that is the one thing about, I think, the Friday the 13th series that I don't think Scream sort of comports this with the others, where in Friday the 13th, being a virgin is almost unheard of until this movie, where you could even start approaching it. In the other movies, like, people have sex and everyone has sex and everyone does drugs.
Yeah, I was surprised
At the marijuana?
At the fact that every damn couple paired off. And I did listen to the other episode. What did you guys call it? Bone Fest?
Bone Town. Yeah, Bone Town.
Bone Town, Bone Zone. The Great Boning of 1988.
Get Bunked-a-thon 1987.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
The Get Bunked.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to be like when we start our Patreon. That's pretty much going to be like the hashtag on everything. All our merchandise is just going to say "Get Bunked."
Yeah, you should sell shirts.
Oh my God,
sell shirts that say that.
Oh yeah, shirts, the enamel pins that are really, really hot with the kids right now.
Yes, everyone loves an enamel pin.
You got my pre-order.
We're rolling in those imaginary ducats.
$15 pledge.
Oh, you're rich. You're rich with promises.
Well, we've just about spent the $1 million check we got for being featured on Podmas. So actually, weren't you on the same? You were on the same.
We were same
day.
article, same roundup.
Did you ride the high as long as I did? I'm sure my Facebook friends just like, yeah, all right, you've told us 3 times already that you made it onto Podmas.
We did ride that high. Why would you not?
Riding it.
Yeah.
Riding it until I die.
I've got that $1 million in my imaginary bank account ready to spend that dwindling social cachet.
All we need to do, get in a time machine, go back 7-8 years, start our own podcast company, and then right about now, we will start to make lots of money.
Yeah.
Until they change how people
Everything.
make money again.
Yay.
So now that we've depressed ourselves about our achievements, which are many and fruitful, and we should be happy about, let's move to you, Kelly. When was the first time you saw a Friday the 13th movie?
It was at my cousin's house. And this was already a very distraught time for me because these were my mean cousins that used to bully me a lot. Ooh. But everyone liked them because they had a pool. So we were like, it was a sleepover with like all the cousins there. And I remember we watched it. And this must have been when I was like 12. I remember it was the first like slasher movie I'd ever seen. And it was probably like, maybe not the gore. Well, yeah, I think it was probably the goriest thing I'd ever seen at the up until that point. And I remember like realizing my mortality. Like as I was going to sleep that night, I was like, oh my God, that could be me. I could be like chopped to death. Like it was really weird. And I remember like staying away from them for a couple years and then being fine with it later. But
yeah, well, I think you had a rational reaction to it, whereas I was frightened to death of the Pink Panther theme. So I think
I loved Pink Panther. I was all about Pink Panther.
It's very unnerving.
It's the sound of someone sneaking into your house in a very jazzy way, but they're still violating your space, y'all.
It's that like 60s cartoon jazz. It can't be trusted.
No. Name a good 60s cartoon jazz artist who still has an unbesmirched record. I dare you.
Vince DeVolveda.
Yeah.
Who did the Peanuts stuff.
Charles Charlon.
Mine was real, Kelly.
Well, I think I just betrayed my ignorance about 60s cartoon jazz artists.
So let us pick up where we left off. In the very last moments, we saw Robin transform into a man in mid-flight and then hit the ground again as a woman.
Oh, yeah.
And just kind of flop there.
Oh, yeah. I wrote down, sweater guy fall, LOL. There were 3 points where I truly did laugh out loud, and that was one
of mine too.
Yeah.
Was any of the other two having to do with that fake head?
Oh, no. The other one is, I know we can't talk about it because it's not one of our assigned kills.
No, you can talk about anything.
Well, they've already covered all the kills.
The sleeping bag, like hitting the sleeping bag against a TV, or against a tree, a sleeping bag full of a person. It reminded me of one of my friends had a pet rat, and the pet rat got sick, and vet was like, well, I could put it to sleep, but it'll be a lot cheaper if you just put it in a pillowcase and like throw the pillowcase on the ground.
Oh my god.
What? That was their savings plan?
Oh my god.
Yeah, he was like, it'll be cheaper. And the parents were like, my friend's mom was like, I will not take my son's rat and hit it against the ground. But so I was like, oh, that poor girl is a little rat in a pillowcase.
That was sad.
I laughed so hard at that.
I mean, it's also very funny,
Yes.
but it was like insult to injury. Like, you're already going to kill me.
Yeah.
Why do you have to wrap me in a bag and drag me first? But that wasn't my first LOL. Actually, I had 4 LOLs. My first LOL, closing time at the stock exchange. When he said the party was so dirty already that it looked like closing time at the stock exchange.
He was the fanciest boy that there ever was. I was like, all right, we get it. You're a
sweater
rich
guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Pleats.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine so many pleats on one human being. And it's also weird to think that people really dress like that. But I'm going to blow your minds. That was me in high school. Like, you could like that with more of a hockey hair thing going on.
Oh, I am seeing it vividly.
Yeah. I dressed that prissy.
Oh my goodness!
Did you do the sweater tied around the shoulders?
Of course, it was culturally appropriate for me to do this in Glendale, California.
You gotta post photos.
Every photo I've ever posted is me in some sort of Cosby-esque sweater, with inappropriate slacks, and I'm like,
define inappropriate,
like drapey.
They were just
sheer.
They were just too fancy for any sort of affair.
Okay.
Like a dress pants.
Yes, a dress pants.
Tux pants.
And only I was probably a good 20 pounds lighter because I was so very, very thin that strong winds could carry me away. And I was swallowing maybe a bag and a half of Doritos a day.
Got to be held down by some heavy wool sweaters.
Yeah, you were right to do that.
Yeah.
You know what? You're on the right side of history.
I've got that going for me. So.
Oh, I was going to say another LOL is Melissa, I don't even like you.
Oh my God. I loved that.
I
loved when he said that to her.
This is like right at the point where we are allowed to start talking about the movie, in theory, is when, what's his face, audience stand-in gets rejected by Melissa. And he says, I've been rejected by some of the finest science fiction magazines in the continental United States. I was like, what is this line?
I don't know, but it still puts Alaska and Hawaii in play.
I was about to say, why haven't you tried Hawaii, bro?
Hawaii has a thriving sci-fi magazine industry.
Yeah, or even like Puerto Rico or Guam.
Yeah. Like get into some territories.
You're really limiting yourself.
Or self-publish, man. I mean, in the 80s is a little different.
Yeah, I mean, if he was around now, he'd probably have like a 12-part series completely self-published of like, what they call them, like space mummies or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be writing that IP
that,
right to the big time.
Yeah. That would sell like hotcakes.
So let's get right into it. We rejoin the action here with Nick attempting to put together an escape plan. All the while, Tina is insisting that her mother is being murdered / might come back to the cabin. She's a little unsure as to which one it is, but that's okay. She's distraught. Perhaps she's not the right person to be making plans right now. But they end up sort of splitting up. With Nick going back to the party house, which is still festooned with an odd array of balloons. And
various balloons hanging on weird parts of walls.
There definitely seems to be more balloons in each scene than there were in the last scene.
Yeah, are the did the balloons have sex? And then they propagate?
Anytime we don't see Jason, he's very busy just adding some balloons to the room, making it a fun environment for everybody to get their heads chopped off.
Or like, this got cut, but every time we're not seeing a location, Pennywise the clown is just snuck in and just like set another balloon down and then like calmly jaunts away.
I buy it.
It's a lot of skipping and fisheye lenses.
Like, doo-doo-doo.
Yeah. And the one thing I noticed when Nick walks in is that there appears to be some sort of Close Encounters-esque UFO parked outside. There's so much light coming in.
Yeah, I was confused about that light. And I was like, are we supposed to know what that is? And then so I kept like rewinding. But it was not like, what's that? Diegetic. It was non-diegetic light. like I was like, well, I guess he doesn't see it.
I don't know. It's like we wandered into a Billy Idol video all of a sudden.
He was so backlit. It was crazy.
Yeah. It's just like they're like, you know how Top Gun is kind of a neo-noirish? Well, we want to do that at night at a cabin.
I just feel like there might have been like a cut scene where Jason was just going to like plow into the side of the house on like a bulldozer, and that was just the light shining on it.
If he was sitting on a little Caterpillar getting ready to just revving that engine. Oh my God, it took him like 4 hours to drive it out there.
I was going to say there was a moment where I was like, how does he keep upgrading his weapons? So honestly, I wouldn't put a Caterpillar too far out of the realm of possibility.
I have some questions about his like ability to kill
Sure.
people. Because there were times where he stabbed through someone with his like pointy fingernails at one point. How?
When he was resurrected, and this happened in the last movie. In that movie, he discovered that he had sort of a Hulk-like super strength, and throughout that movie, he constantly gives looks to the camera like, "Huh, I can do that now? All right."
And then at the end of the movie, he's like, "What a week!"
It's basically the Chevy Chase vehicle Modern Problems, but with Jason Voorhees.
Oh, okay. So his fingers are just very strong.
Yes.
So they can be like a knife.
Yeah, he can just do that sort of Mortal Kombat finishing move.
Yes.
Whenever he wishes. And in previous films, he had displayed certain levels of strength. And in part 3, he squeezed a would-be boyfriend's head so hard that his eye popped out. But no brains came out afterwards, which would tell you the intelligence level of that particular boyfriend.
Well, no, it just it popped off the thread of his brain. That's how powerful it was. He can actually direct where he wants his strength to affect.
That's right.
Right here.
So yeah, and one of his signatures that we've seen over the movies is an ability that he's got sort of a Jackie Chan philosophy where he finds his weapons as he goes. He just doesn't plan. He doesn't have a favorite. He just does what he wants.
He's very resourceful.
Yes. That reaches what I would call a fuck you level in this particular sequence that we're talking about. When he dons what could only be described as a sharpened field hockey stick.
I wrote down, oh my God, you read my mind, Hamilton. I wrote a note. What is that thing? It looks like a bladed hockey stick.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. And then he follows it up with this circular saw on the end of a pole.
Which comes from where?
That shed.
He brought both. He brought both, and he's like, which to use on which victim?
But he came out of the bottom of the lake. He didn't have a storage unit down there. He didn't put up a pod and say, I'm going to pay this ahead of time. And then when I'm resurrected, I'm going to reach in here for new weapons. And we also could have explained this if he had just killed a gardener. But no.
Sure. I feel like they were trying to buy too much real estate with him like being in a woodshed once, and they're like, well, anything he has, he could get it from there. And he because I did not even understand what that thing was. Like, you don't need that much torque on a saw. You don't need to be on the end of a stick.
It's unwieldy if you put a saw on the end of the stick like that.
Yeah.
Where is its center of gravity?
Because it was like almost a weed whacker, but then not, because it was like way weirder and scarier.
And it was a thin stick.
A thin stick.
Or pole.
Yeah, whatever it is, it seems unwieldy. But here's another issue that I have with that particular weapon. I want to run it by everybody. So this might be like issue 5478. How does Jason know how to use a gas-powered gardening equipment? Like, did he pick this up at a trade school? Did he take a small appliance repair course at Crystal Lake Tech? Like, this is a backwoods mutant who's raised himself in a shack in the woods with nothing but his mother's head and a curiously preserved toilet. And now he just knows how to use a pull cord and a choke on a tree trimmer. Like, fuck you!
Yeah, that was weird that he seems to have some, like, pre-programmed knowledge for certain types of technology. Like, I didn't get... Because he just... Well, first of all, we never even see him pick it up. He appears with it. And seems to be whipping it around with quite a bit of vigor and accuracy.
Yes.
Maybe it's whatever lightning bolts hit him also imbued him with that knowledge.
Okay, here we go.
It was
all
one
right,
of those
fan correction.
gardening storms.
Here we go, fan correction. We don't know this is how it happens off screen, but Tina is an amateur gardener. And so when she was like wishing for her dad to be like reincarnated and then accidentally like releasing him, she transferred her little knowledge about various gardening tools to him. Now he knows.
Bam. I buy this.
Works for me.
Great.
Yes. Psychic torpedo contains gardening knowledge.
Yeah.
Done.
And Tina doesn't know that because she hasn't explored her powers fully, so she has no idea.
Well, there's no hard and fast rules to this because that would require forethought and screenwriting, and that is not necessarily this edition's forte. But yeah, I'll buy that. I'll buy that just fine. So we return to the woods here, and that's where we find Mrs. Shepherd and Dr. Bad News, and they're putting on a regional theater production of The Glass Menagerie. There also seems to be a staunch belief amongst the male characters in this film that holding a woman by her shoulders and shaking her violently will get them to agree with their plans. And I don't know that is reality so much.
Did they not see Airplane? That doesn't work.
No one in this movie saw Airplane. That is the subtext that everyone was given. They wrote it down on cards and they said, don't tell anybody, but only you know this and I want to see it on screen.
I will say that there was a lot of just in general touching of the shoulders of women. Like Nick loves to hold both of Tina's shoulders.
It's almost like she's one of those little BB game balls, you know, where you try to get the BB balls into various little plastic holders.
Oh, yeah. He's afraid she's going to just whip away. But it's like, it is very like, I have to control this hysterical woman. I'm going to shake her by the shoulders.
Well, what we're ignoring, but we all know, is that when you shake a woman, intelligence falls out. And so once you like shake a little of the intelligence out, then they're like, yes, good plan.
No. That's what I learned in high school.
And that's what Dr. Cruz learned at the School of Psychiatry and Exploitation.
That's right.
I was gonna say in the last episode where you guys were talking about the first part of the movie, you said that Mrs. Shepherd was another mom not given a first name. Her name is Amanda.
Oh, does it pop up and we missed it?
She introduces herself to Nick as Amanda Sheffield.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Yep. Amanda.
You know what? She saw that ripe young man and thought to herself, you know what? I'm Amanda.
I'm a woman. I'm not just a mother.
She was like, I'm feeling things I haven't felt nigh on 20 years. I'm Amanda, damn it.
You never know when those high-waisted pants might get unbelted.
Yeah,
No,
or that
that's what that
hair.
belt is for.
Ooh.
Keeping that sexuality at bay.
Yeah. Oh, boy. And...
Yeah, so Amanda's getting her shoulders shaken.
Them really whipped back and forth. We hear yet another doubled-up kill, kill, kill for no particular reason, and also a slowed down choo 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 noise. The soundtrack is the fucking worst.
Yeah, endless. It
just keeps squeaking and hawking and lurping and burping everywhere. At one point later on, when Tina's using her psychic power on the stairs, I swear to God, you keep hearing a doorbell go off, and like, we don't have a doorbell. We have one of those ring things.
Yeah,
what the fuck is happening? Where am I hearing this doorbell? No, it was the soundtrack of the movie.
Yeah, no, I thought that there was like intense yard work happening outside my house, and I like paused it, and I was like, oh no, and then I put it back on, and then it started getting louder. I think it was during one of the parts where Tina was described. Oh, that's right. It's when one of the like many times that Dr. Cruz is like just intensely gaslighting Tina.
Yeah,
and
he really is. This is a very good example.
It is. It's textbook, actually.
Yeah. I mean, he would know.
He's
a doctor.
That's right. He could actually put it in a textbook if he had lived, and he does not. Spoiler alert for a movie that came out 39 years ago.
Good.
Fuck that guy. Although I was kind of bummed that we didn't get to see more of like the gore with him. Like it was very off screen.
I was gonna say it's like he got a little tummy.
It's
nick.
like he gets
Like,
flurbered
I thought it was gonna be
I do to my kid.
And instead it was like
yeah. Well, like as it's approaching him, it's like and then
and you just see his face, and then it's like
tickle tickle.
He almost goes cross-eyed like Dan Aykroyd when he gets a ghost blowjob in Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I mean,
those two things.
The drama of the scene is definitely lessened by the fact that he goes cross-eyed upon death.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise I was really wrapped up in the dramatics and like really invested in the characters and hoping they were going to live. And I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen to this very serious moment between these serious characters?
I mean, this is a real.
But then he goes cross-eyed. And that's out the window.
I mean, you think of like character dramas, and you think of like The Sopranos.
You think of Breaking Bad. You think
Friday,
of Sex and the City. You think of Popular, the show on the You think of other such media.
So they this plan of his to shake intelligence out of Amanda does not work out. He just runs for the hills as soon as he hears a twig snap. And then we get what feels like an endless Paul Greengrass circa Bourne Supremacy like shaky cam chase. Then he slides into home, which I don't know if this is a plan. We have not figured out his plans to date. I think this is the episode where we've really finally found consensus. But this, I'm going to stop here in this open field and try to, I don't know.
And then like look every which way.
It's not exactly what I would call top-notch planning. But you know what? He's an improv guy. And by that, I mean he's going to sacrifice the woman on his team so that he can look cool. Faces her right towards Jason. And we almost have an official get bunked here where the stabbing implement goes through two people. And then they decided not to do that. I feel kind of cheated. This is the first movie and all of them that we've covered where either someone hasn't been stabbed through an object or two people haven't been stabbed at the same time.
Wow, that would have been the place for it. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Because oh my God, wouldn't that be so funny? I would have laughed so hard if he tried to use her as a human shield but got stabbed anyway.
Totally bit him in the ass or stabbed him in the chest.
Stabbed him in the chest.
The other saying for that.
But also like, I mean, it's the heat wave talking, but I could not stare at his sweater any longer. I was like getting so hot looking at that sweater. I was like, take it off. It's so, what is that, wool? Ugh. So hot.
It is, well, that's the other thing that we've noticed in this movie is that they filmed it in January in Alabama. And these movies are typically set in the summer. So you generally shouldn't be seeing people's breath, in like July in New Jersey. That's
wow. Oops.
I was having a lot of trouble location, figuring out where everybody was, because it did seem like people were just in various areas of the woods.
Well, as Michael, the birthday boy, said at the beginning of the movie, woods is woods.
Woods is woods, which is true. Happy birthday, Michael.
That's the kind of wisdom that makes him the friend that everyone will show up to the Jersey woods to party with him just because it's birthday. I mean, it's that kind of sterling wit that makes him the center of the party. And so, R.I.P.D. Amanda Shepard. You have a great chipmunk voice, and
I gotta say, she was a lady who stood up for herself and stood up for her daughter, and she deserved better than to die in Dr. Cruz's shoulder shake. But that's what she got.
God. mid like shoulder shake
that's
whip
what
around.
he was doing again.
Yeah.
He was holding her shoulders.
Horrible.
Ugh.
He's the villain.
Yes, he is. He is the literal villain of this movie. Jason just happens to be in it.
Jason's an innocent. He's like wrong place, wrong time.
What? I think Jason gets a bad rap.
Hear me out. He's indiscriminate in his killing.
Okay, part 1 of 42 tweets. So here's the thing about Jason.
part 1 of question mark.
We got a thread going. Yeah. Some game theory. Go for it.
I'm not gonna thread any of my tweets. They're gonna be separate.
I wanted to talk about the fact that Jason's post-kill corpse art is bizarre and erratic. Like, he stockpiles all the corpses in one place.
Yes. Well, he's known historically as Jason Voorhees, interior/exterior decorator. He likes to have a sort of impromptu, trophy spot, as it were.
Okay.
Generally, some of them might be spring-loaded so that they pop out at an appropriate time, or inappropriate, really, if you're on the other end of it. But yeah, he's known for sort of like gathering everything together. So because he can't take notes at this point, his fingers are mostly gone because fish have eaten them. So he has to stockpile all the bodies in one place so he can keep count.
I was laughing. That was one of my LOL parts so I know Tina's like discombobulated and agitated, but like the setup that he has going on with these corpses in the woods, one falls out. The rest of them are on display. They're all there. And she like stumbles into the middle of it and then is like, "Wah! Wah! Wah!"
Well, they were all hanging there.
I'm like, girl, you saw that like 10 minutes ago as you were walking towards that area. But
they didn't all pop out of a branch.
But she literally responds to like different parts of people's bodies. Like she's like the leg, the arm, the eye. I'm like, that's a whole piece. You saw that.
That was an installation, girl.
Yeah.
That's true.
Limited run. It's going away.
It's a pop-up gallery.
Get your Instagrams while you can.
Yeah. Make sure that you make that your Facebook icon.
Exactly.
And so, Mrs. Shepard is gone too soon.
Yeah.
Sorry, Miss Shepard.
Yeah.
Amanda. I'm sorry.
Let's
Amanda,
call the woman by her name.
Yes. Let's say her name, a la Oprah.
A la Robert Paulson.
And so we cut back to Nick, who manages to find Eddie's body that's crammed under the coffee table like Farmer Ted and 16 Candles. And he heads back to Casa Shepard, where he discovers that Tina is now missing and Melissa is there for reasons.
Yeah, she just kind of helps herself, right? Just walks right into the house, so she owns the place.
I honestly,
why is she there?
No, that is my question to all of you, fine and astute young women. Why the fuck is Melissa in this house?
Melissa's a busy woman. She is 49 years old. She is starting her own business. She is an entrepreneur.
Yes.
She's wearing pantsuits. She's probably going to get an unexpected baby at some point. She carries around a cell phone.
A stylish bob with a wave bang.
She does seem like one of those MLM, like, selling leggings and diet plans. She very much seems that type of person.
Some Amway.
Yes, that woman sells Herbalife. She is so busy. So, I mean, honestly, good on her for making time for Tina's house.
That's right.
She was just doing a stop by. She was like, I got some samples. See if anyone's home.
Listen, Arbonne is half off right now, and I knew that you were interested, and so you were my first stop.
This was her, like, olive branch to Tina. So she came. She was trying to, like, butter her up a little bit.
Yeah, because she's a bitch, but she's got a good business sense.
She is a
Don't alienate your base.
She's a monster. This woman is a monster.
When audience stand-in calls her a cunt, I wrote down, Melissa is a cunt.
She is. She is a straight up cunt.
Is she the one who calls Tina Marilyn Manson?
Oh, is that her? No, that's
or Munster. Sorry.
Yes.
No, that's
Marilyn Munster. I thought that was a good reference. I was like, oh, she is kind of a Maryland monster.
In a way.
She's pretty. She's
now,
blonde.
On your guys' show, you generally qualify people on a capital letter.
Oh, capital K.
Yeah, or a
This
lower
girl,
little Q. Where would you place
She's
her?
got a capital K.
I don't know. Remember when she did the straitjacket thing?
Oh.
That was like, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, she put in some good wood spying.
Yeah.
She did her homework.
Oh, she was like traipsing around in those woods. She was like doing like
In her
army
pearls.
rolls in her pearls, in those like cowboy boots underneath her embroidered jeans.
You know, my vote is not a capital K cunt. Maybe lowercase cunt? With a
Lowercase K.
Lowercase K
On the
cunt?
spectrum, yeah, I would
she's
say.
on the spectrum.
So, yeah, I would say, I don't know. I feel very strongly about her actions with the straitjacket thing when she like makes that dude wear his jacket backwards and it's like, is that what they do in the mental institution? Like, I was like,
that is really bad.
I was like, we get it. You're mean. Like, God.
But she also is under the belief that mean works for her. And when she is ultimately sort of rejected later on during that party by Nick, basically saying, I'm trying to find out if my cousin's still alive. I don't really want to get it wet with a person I don't like right now.
I know. He's like, look, I'm really busy. My cousin...
You are not my friend.
Yeah.
I don't like you.
He's like, I'm really upset about my cousin whose picture I have in my wallet.
I
we're very close. We're so close. I mean, and that was the thing too.
She's like, well, you don't have to like me.
And she's
Which
like,
is
it's not
basically,
about
you
like.
don't have to like me to fuck me.
She wants to hate fuck him.
Or
That's what she
fucking-
wants.
She wants,
Any kind of
she
fucking.
wants him to hate fuck her.
She wants him to hate fuck her. She's just gonna feel it out. She'll see how she feels.
She doesn't feel anything. That's why she's looking for something to hang on to.
Yeah.
She's hollow inside. She's nothing.
Well,
But
she
reminded me
has
of a
some
Kristen Wiig
sensitivity in her shin because later Eddie fucks it half to death.
Oh my God, he is humping the shit out of her leg.
Yes. Like literally she has someone hump her leg. She takes that shin like it's been ridden hard and put away wet, and she has to walk around on it for the rest of the night. God knows if her foot is numb or what.
Get
For all
that
that
girl.
she's a cunt. I will say, you know what? She's right. She did give him a chance. He doesn't turn her on.
No, he didn't hump her shin right.
No.
She needs to go get a wet washcloth.
Listen, if you here you get it. We've heard it from several female sources here. Guys, you want the key to a woman's heart? You better fuck that shin right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
The
mean,
key to a woman's heart is through her shin.
I like a hard exterior part of my body that has no softness and is
Bruises easily.
bruised so easily. Somewhere that I am like often hitting a coffee table.
I'd rather it be hit by a dick.
Get your penis in between my shin and a coffee
It's
table.
not
and I'm a
enough with
happy
a
girl.
Wait a second. Someone email R. Kelly. Let him know that we have a new jam for him because I have a feeling this is right up his gross alley.
Oh, you can't think of any gross thing R. Kelly hasn't already done.
He'll be like, I already did that in 2007.
I wrote a song about it. It had 17 parts.
Oh, sweet Jesus. These people are terrible. So back to the action. Where the fuck are we? There's so many ins and outs. It's like,
Well,
Oh yeah, Melissa's at
Melissa's?
Shay Tina.
Yes.
yeah.
well,
Shay, Crystal.
and she
What
thinks
is it,
everyone's
Crystal Wiig?
weird
Crystal
and
Wiig.
everyone
Crystal Wiig.
sucks. And why aren't they paying attention to her?
Why aren't they looking at my pearls?
Yes. Jason keeps showing up with different instruments somewhere in the distance. The Joker is just mumbling to himself, where does he get such wonderful toys?
Yeah, I mean, it gives at least he has a nice personal touch by choosing a new weapon for each kill. It's just showing
true.
it shows an attention to detail that your Michael Myers is lack. I mean, he just tends to go for the butcher knife or the bare hands, but he just like, well, I've thought a lot of it. I think you need to go for the bladed hockey stick thing I just found sitting around that nobody knows what it is. It's some sort of post-apocalyptic weapon that people use when they need to fight over gasoline and water rations.
Yeah.
Well, so what he does is he actually sends out like a doodle to everyone he's gonna kill to make sure Like, just get their personality type. And then it's like bespoke murdering. It's actually our new sponsor. I wanted to talk to you guys about it.
Sure. Is this like a
great
crate service where like,
you get a surprise murder.
Because what we do is we talk about our sponsor on other people's podcasts.
So what we like to do is bring in our sponsor, Loot Kill. And it's a lovely, like, once in a lifetime
different box every
kill.
month. Sometimes the theme is Spike. Sometimes the theme is imaginary garden tools.
Sometimes the theme is my fingers. So
it's curated serial killing. It's sort of like a Fred Siegel, but you die at the end.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're right. He cares.
He cares. He really does.
Yeah.
Good for
It's
him.
personalized. You're not just a warm body to him that'll eventually cool off. You're a person. And you deserve your own way of being shuffled off this mortal coil, God damn it.
You're a warm body that will eventually be put in a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just fallen out of one.
Or just in a planter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Your head just goes in a planter. Oh, that's a bummer.
Nick finds that one, right?
Everyone else has got this, like, intricate Blair Witch shit going on, and then your head's just, like, plopped in an orange tree. Yeah.
I will say this for that sequence is that Tina eventually picks it up with her mind and headbutts Jason with it. So, I mean, would you rather just be in a tree or have your head headbutt Jason later on?
And you get to experience telekinesis.
I cackled like a lunatic at that scene when she launches the severed head across the room, and it's still just as lousy and cheap looking as it was in the last shot. I want to know who had the honor, the privilege of being on set and just pelting this thing across the room.
Well, we know that I'm forgetting his name right now. The actor who was Jason. Stood very patiently for every single take. They probably did, because Jason is just like, okay, look, we'll try this again. I'll just brace myself for this orange tree to the face.
Yeah, Jason starts throwing a lot of who shot where and the what now looks at Tina throughout their psychic battle. Like that. He just like, what the fuck? Like, this hasn't happened to me before, and a lot of things have happened to me.
Yeah, I really wanted to know his thought process throughout the entire movie. Because I want to know why he just keeps killing. Like, he is kill. No thought, just whoever he runs into. As soon as he kills those people, he's off to find the next. Not a second thought. And then the other thing is, like, what is he thinking about this telekinetic fighter? He's like, what is this now?
He looks very confused in as much as, you know, somebody who, how would you describe his face at this point? The condition of his appearance? Gnarled?
Yeah.
Definitely, like, mush gnarled.
Yeah, like water soaked.
Crypt keeper gnarled.
Like a shrunken apple head that's been left to seed.
Yeah, he's looking a little beef jerky, a little, you know, old wet sneaker, kind of a lot of different looks going on.
Oh, like a wallet in a pool.
Yes, there you go. Thank you.
Yes,
that's perfect.
There it is.
But with really great bone structure.
Yeah,
oh, fantastic!
With
one eye,
with one jacked up eye and a few teeth.
He looked scarier with his mask on. I thought.
It's always more intimidating not to be able to see an expression, I think.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's behind there? And then I saw it, and I was like, oh, I guess that's kind of scary.
That's behind
there.
That.
Part of it is because when the mask is off, he's forced to do a lot of facial reactions. And at one point, when both Tina and he are in the basement, and they're sort of facing off against one another, they start moving their jaws around like they're both chewing Big League Chew.
I was just going to say that. Yes. He is like chomping the air, like hard, and she's doing a lot of like, I mean, I'm assuming she's doing the best with what she's given, which is like a director probably screaming at her and
look like you're doing telekinesis.
Yeah, which is like her being like, I'm looking at the item, now throw, and then him being like, whoa, 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 whoa. His jaw.
I liked the annoyed side eye looks they kept giving each other in the basement, because at that point they were like, will you not fucking die?
Yeah.
Why? Oh my God. Like, even Jason is going, this again? I thought I took care of this.
And then the whole time Nick's like, hello?
Someone stepped on my tailbone.
I know. I'm going to have trouble going between sitting and standing for weeks.
I think it's bruised.
It's like an 11-year-old trying to test out how to walk on someone's back, like at a Japanese massage parlor. And he's just kind of like, no, wait a second. Do I want to go low on his hips, or do I want to go high on his spine? I don't know what. That lack of decision making really saves Nick's life.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like a new method for Jason.
Have we seen Jason use his feet before?
Gina,
to kill?
Have we ever seen Jason use his feet to kill somebody?
I don't think so. You would think he would have launched somebody like a football right by this point, but no, he's not. In those big ass work boots, you would think he would curb stomp somebody at some point.
Yeah, he's mostly Greco-Roman. He's all upper body.
No, yeah, he was not successful in doing it, and I feel like so I think he probably never tries it again, because he did it and he's like, all right, I know my strengths, and using my feet is not one of them, because that did not work.
He definitely he seems to question. He's like, should I just apply pressure to the foot, or should I step on him completely?
Yeah. Do I step with my foot on his foot?
On his back? If I step all the way on him, will I lose my balance? I'm not that graceful.
He's not very graceful. He's fast and lumbery, but not graceful.
But you saw him go through that window. That self-defenestration was
God.
A bit of ballet from him.
The way that he jumped through with both feet forward, I was in shock. I was like, I can't believe how graceful this is.
Yeah, what did you push off?
I was going to say, did they have a trampoline parked outside the house?
Yeah. It was in the shed with all the garden tools.
That's a deleted scene. They're just like, it's just them walking by and someone being like, oh, we don't use that trampoline barely at all anymore. Anyway, let's go in the house and party.
Yeah. It's not great. Oh, you know what we missed here is Melissa's death.
Miss Melissa?
Who
nobody misses
this
Melissa.
is true, but we must mark her passing.
But we do miss her death.
Here's the thing about that. Is the most brutal thing that happens, and that includes the sleeping bag death. He just buries a hatchet in her face and throws her like I assume airline people throw my bag into an airplane.
Yeah, he hurls her over the TV into the corner.
I loved the way her legs looked like flooping down off of the TV stand. I was like, oh, sick.
It is the best physical stunt
funny.
in the whole thing, I think.
It was hilarious. That was that could have been like Charlie Chaplin. That was hilarious.
and I love that she is not given an iota of humanity up to the very end.
No.
She's just an unreasonable bitch until death, literally.
Yeah, I wrote down that she says, he's like, Melissa, you have to stay here with us. And she goes, it's not my style. And I was like, what, being in living rooms? Like, what isn't your style
and
right
also
now?
she tries to make everything so sexual, because she's bringing me some I don't watch Sex and the City too much. The one that's obsessed with
Samantha.
sex. Yes. Samantha. Because everything she's like, oh, what? And they're like, because when they said you should stay here with us, I feel like she was saying for a threesome, I don't think so, and started walking out. But I was so mad at her because she literally made Tina's mom's death and also the death of various other people in the house about her.
Classic Melissa,
because she was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe I'm stuck in this house with you two. And I was like, okay, but Tina's going through something right now.
Well, everyone, all these people are dead, and she's like, right, as if this is some sort of long con to end up in that threesome with the guy that she wants to hate fuck and the girl she doesn't want to hate fuck.
No, she does not want to hate fuck.
You guys are setting me up for something.
Yeah.
What do you think is happening?
Is this
Melissa?
a trick?
I don't think so. I don't know why you guys would tell me that everybody around us is dead and try to keep me here, but I'm not falling for it.
They tried this on me last year.
The oldest trick in the book.
Classic. All your friends are dead? Okay.
And they're like, Melissa, the oldest trick in the book for what? You know, we all know.
Don't make me say it out loud. No, we need you to say it out loud because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Do you want me to get the book? She pulls out the book. See? Here. It's in the book. They're like, oh, well, we didn't do that. We weren't doing that.
While I have this book out, I actually have some literature on Herbalife.
Just brush the newspaper clippings about Jason Voorhees to the side.
Oh, yeah. Ignore these. Ugh, what are these even doing here?
What are those doing there? All right.
What are they doing there?
Who did they belong to? Did they belong to Dr. Cruz? Did they belong to her dad?
Oh my God. There's so much to unpack with the dad. Because the dad, I mean, this is jumping ahead to the end, but I was like slightly irritated that he was like kind of a hero.
Are you kidding?
Oh my God, he was so wonderful.
Oh my God, that's the best fucking part of the movie. I showed Kelly and I sent a screenshot to Patrick of my notes, but at the end of my notes just say, in giant letters like a Peanuts cartoon.
I was like, the dude that like beats his wife gets to be the hero.
It was a perfect callback.
Oh my
God. It was
God.
Perfection. She goes out to resurrect Jason, or to resurrect her dad, accidentally resurrects Jason, and then her resurrected dad saves the day.
It's called a character arc.
Fucking awesome. Yeah.
Also,
Kelly,
you know what?
He learned his lesson in the lake.
Great. Yeah, he spent a lot of time down there thinking.
Yeah, he served his time.
Yeah, and he grabs Jason by the shins, which we've talked about is a very important part
sexual.
of the body. Mm-hmm. Grabs him by the shins, drags him back down. Who knows what's gonna happen down
It's
there?
true. Probably should.
Sexual death.
It's a sexual death. Sensual death, Lindsay. My God.
He may as well have pulled him into that lake by the dick.
Yeah, we get a lot of murder attempts on Jason throughout this psychic battle. We get, let's see here, grab him by some tree trunks, drag him into the water, and electrify him.
Oh, yeah, that was the first attempt.
My question is, wouldn't that just make him stronger to electric?
Well, I don't know that the
oh my God, this is like
reborn by lightning made it into the newspaper clippings or not. I don't know if that's part of the legend that they talk about at the beginning.
But
people are very fast and loose with how much they know about how he died and then was reborn and then died again. So,
but my problem is the movie doesn't seem to know.
The movie has no idea. I mean, and that was the thing too, right? Because like, so he gets rejuvenated by Tina's lightning, and he comes out of the lake. Well, then she uses electricity on him again, but I don't think she knows.
No, she doesn't electrocute him to get him out of the lake. He is resurrected by lightning in number 4.
Number 6, actually.
Oh,
or sorry.
I'm sorry.
6.
You know why I was confused?
My apologies.
No. But you know
right.
what?
It's not an actually.
You know why
you're correct.
You know why I was confused.
Then it's just a correction.
I was confused because
actually, here's the correct information. That's allowed.
There was an extensive like previously on at the beginning of the movie.
So extensive.
And so I was like, oh,
well, also completely confusing.
Well, yeah. So I was like experiencing a lot of like sensory overload during that part because it was like lightning, and there were people that were like introduced.
Corey Feldman.
Yeah, Corey Feldman. Oh God, you guys! I saw Corey Feldman do a live set at a show that one of my friends was like following.
I'm listening.
Oh boy,
it was
yeah.
It was real bummer. It was so it was Corey Feldman and the Angels, and he was like playing footage of one of his shows from 20 years ago behind him and singing along to the same song.
That doesn't seem like an audio-visual panacopia.
Yeah, it made my stomach hurt. So we ended up leaving.
I have a lot of residual embarrassment, and I'm not even attached to the story in any way, shape, or form.
No, yeah, it was extremely embarrassing. I really had to leave.
A couple of friends of mine saw him do a show in what they said seemed to be a defunct grocery store.
Ooh, on brand.
Somebody was using as a music venue.
Oh man!
But they said it pretty much looked like they just ripped off like the signs that said like meat and dairy,
and then they
put
all the Corey
cash
and Feldman.
This section is for the Corey. This section is for the Feldmans.
Are you a Corey or a Feldman?
What side of that terrible wedding are you on? So
Anyway.
yeah, we get the power line thing. I grade that like a B.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Jason self-defenestrates. We kind of talked about that leap inside. And then Tina closes doors and moves a table into his way. That's a D+.
Okay, that was
for
so
sure.
dumb because you know what I thought she was doing? I thought she was moving the table on her side
No, it's on his side.
and like barricading the door. And then he moves it. He just like lifts it with one finger, with one of his very strong pointy fingers. And I was like, "You idiot."
I really did enjoy the casual manner in which he did that. He was like, well, I've come up against a table. I shall move the table.
He was like, "I'll just put this right over here." Launches it across the room.
Then she picks up a couch that does not seem particularly heavy and launches that at his face. He sort of does a Three Stooges wah, 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 gets back up.
Yeah.
And this is where we get the head in the planter headbutt, which is an A-.
That's A plus for me.
For sure.
Yeah, I was A plus asterisk. That's what it means when you set the curve.
Oh.
I thought that was amazing. I loved
wouldn't
that.
know because I never got one.
Oh, I never got one either. It was lots of talk in law school.
Oh, okay.
So then they wander outside, and I do mean wander. There's not a lot of urgency on Jason's part. He's just kind of like going from set piece to set piece. He's hitting marks. And then Tina brings the porch down on him, and that's where you get a lot of, huh? What? Where? Which is a lot of reactions from an undead zombie who just came out of a lake, like nigh on to 24 hours ago.
Who typically gives zero reactions.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, okay, here's a question I have. Why does Tina think that kills him?
She keeps thinking that at every turn.
like-
She's like, now I've done it.
So after the first time, she needs to be like nothing is sure. After the first time she like electrifies him and he just gets up, then she needs to be like, okay, I need to like
Head or nothing.
I need to saw this head off. Like if I were her,
And I don't want to presume to speak for her, but if I were
she's
her,
a fully formed person who has her own opinions and thoughts. However, if I were her, I would have like strapped him down and just like sawed off every part of his body, because like I would just not. I mean, he probably would break out and kill me, but I feel like that's the only way to be sure, because otherwise,
it's the same in like every movie. If you don't get their head,
yeah.
you can't trust anything.
And
'Cause
sometimes they can
sometimes
still
that's
get you with
not-
the head
yeah.
out the head.
Sometimes the head can jump out at you from a planter.
Then she heads back in the house. This is when Melissa dies, and Jason chucks her across the room like she's part of a bar brawl in Roadhouse.
Yes.
Yes.
She really need to slide down a bar. That would have been like with some old timey
That'd be
saloon
great.
music playing.
Yeah, with a drunk at the end going, I didn't order that.
Just raising his beer glass, so she just slides right past him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then Jason chases Nick and Tina upstairs, and this is where we get that old Fate of the Furious wrecking ball treatment. She slams a light fixture into his face, and he falls through the stairs. I'll give that a B+.
I don't know why that's what happened. His emergence.
Or his like approach up the stairs.
Him breaking out from under the stairs, out from like Harry Potter's little room,
Yes.
was so funny to me.
I laughed so hard because he's just like walking through the mall, but
He's just like, like it's like I was like, okay, well, we're gonna reveal that he's alive somehow.
Yeah.
But the fact that he just came out from under the stairs
He just
themselves from a
he just
wall.
walks through that wall like it's made of paper.
Yeah.
It was,
Which
and
it is.
and it totally subverted my expectations. It was like an
Exactly.
excellently crafted joke because, like, honestly, because I thought he was gonna when they were like, so he falls through the stairs and they're like, oh my god, let's like walk right over where he just fell.
Yeah.
I was like, you idiots, he's gonna grab you. He didn't grab them. Then they make it all the way down, and then he's just like, oh hey guys, like he comes out from underneath. I was like, oh sick.
And he just Kool-Aid Man's right through that bad boy.
Yeah, exactly, but with like less aggression because he's just like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nick puts himself between himself between Jason and Tina, and he pays for that by getting tossed across the room like he's a person in a roadhouse. And that's when we get that awkward foot massage where he just kind of works the kidneys a little bit. buying time. Tina responds by microwave massacring his brain.
Well, here's where I was going to say, Tina, why aren't you keeping this up?
That's what
Squish
I thought.
that head.
I wrote, okay, this is what I wrote. Dude, her tightening the mask is sick. And then, ... Kind of hoped she would keep doing that because it was so cool. Like she's like tightening it, but then also like microwaving his brain, so it's like exploding kind of out of the
squishing
strap.
Yeah, there's like vanilla pudding just like flowing out of that mask.
Someone get me some custard. That was crazy. And so I was like, oh my gosh, let's keep doing it.
It's full of old Jello pudding pops and gremlin meat. I don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, keep it coming, Tina.
Keep it coming, Teen. She doesn't.
Instead, she hangs him.
I know. I was like, Tina.
That's the second light
right
fixture in a row. It's like it worked well the first time. This feels like.
I know. And they were both pendant lights. I was like, be original.
She's also going back to the cord well.
Yeah. Yes.
She just, uses a cord.
She's very confident with cords. That's what we can gather.
Yeah.
So.
You got to innovate, though, Tina.
Tina makes the basement open up and drops him in there. Is like. Done and done. Tries to wake Nick up, and that's when Jason pulls his. Oh, you remember when I did this out of a lake? I'm gonna do this out of a basement. Yoink! And then they face off in the basement like they're both working on Jolly Ranchers at the same time with their jaws.
Yep. Oh my god, they're just chewing on some saltwater taffy. They're going crazy with their jaws in there. And then she's like going nuts with the gasoline.
Yes. She sprayifies him with gasoline. And it takes a long time after the gasoline spray for her to go, oh, I need to get him close to fire. And this is way too long. This takes like 2 minutes for her to connect these two dots together.
Well, it honestly, like, it takes her so long that I feel like she wasn't even thinking about fire. She was just like, I'll just spray this stuff on him.
Well, she launched some nails at him, too. I think she was just kind of going down the line of everything that was in the storage shelf. Pretty soon a can of turpentine would have been flung at him, maybe a hammer.
A Necronomicon, whatever's in basements and cabins. Yeah.
A calendar of pretty ladies.
And then, he just gets like hit with like a bunch of the little cutout articles of himself, and then he like peels one off, and he's like, "Huh?
I'm in the Truman Show."
I never did that. I felt that Tina getting coated in gasoline and then pulling at her clothes and getting worried was sort of like Chekhov's gun that never gets used.
Yes.
Yeah, well, she pulls off her jacket and throws it at him.
Yeah. So
is it just to show that
it was like they were making a point of showing that the gasoline gets on her, and then there are no consequences.
No. I mean, I feel like they were just being like, this makes her look smart. And then just like did that.
Because smart people take off clothes that have gasoline
on them.
Well, they're not wrong.
And throw them against their enemies. So she's like, take this jacket.
She's shedding the last vestige of their battle at him and saying, I won't be defined by this.
Yes, it's very symbolic. I'm sure that's what they meant.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick grabs Tina. The two of them run like hell because Jason's doing a full body burn, which I would not rank highly in the slasher full body burn canon. I think the one from Halloween 2, where Michael just wanders down a hallway unstopping, is probably better.
Ooh, that's scary.
Oh, it's actually probably the best part of that movie.
Yeah, that's cool.
But, anyone who lights themselves on fire, seriously, that is a big fucking stunt. You can't breathe because if you breathe, fire will go into your lungs. It is so difficult to do full body burns. It is a miracle anyone survives it.
Holy shit.
Yeah. No, whenever you see someone on fire, they're not breathing because they can't. Their lungs will catch on fire if they do.
Oh, my God. Well, you know what? Great job. Even though all he did was kind of like pirouette a little bit.
Yeah, he's not given a lot of room. I mean, he's not exactly given the best stage to do what he do.
But he's a craftsman.
Yeah. He did what he could with what he had.
That's right. And so Nick apparently has a feeling, and that feeling is, this house is made out of dynamite, and if we don't run, we're going to be blown up in the dynamite house. And then it fucking happens. That house really blows up.
I rewound it because I was like, am I missing something? Like, was there, like, do they just pan past like 7,000 cans or things of propane? But they didn't.
Well, the basement was filled with piles of old newspaper.
Oh, classic.
That they were careful to show several times.
Yes, but newspaper generally doesn't explode.
I will say, like, I didn't have to go back and look at it because I was like, yeah, Nick, you got to get her out of there because the house is going to explode because that's what happens.
Oh my God, you were in it.
And then the house exploded. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's what happens in movies.
It was
I was fine.
It was such an intense explosion.
Always dumb.
No, it was a crazy explosion. One of the reasons they filmed in Alabama was because this was the only place that was going to let them blow up a fucking house in the middle of a forest. And holy shit, did they blow up that house?
I'm just imagining that I'm just imagining that they were like on location at that house doing the other shots, and I'm just imagining them like right after it explodes. They're like, you know what? I'm just realizing we needed to get some reshoots of. You know, it's fine. We'll keep it. It's fine.
I left the lens cap on. Fuck.
Oh gosh, I forgot that we had yet to film this scene that explains why Makeover Girl runs out of the house looking for David.
No, she catches Friday the 13th disease, where all of a sudden things you know how to do you cannot do, which is go to the living room to find somebody you last saw in the living room.
I know. Yeah, where you last saw him. Instead, it's David, are you there?
David, I wore my white pumps.
Can I just say that I love that when Nick and Tina are escaping the house, this might be the first time I've ever heard someone use the phrase "hit the deck," and they literally hit the deck.
On point.
Amazing.
Not thought of that.
Also, when they do hit the deck, Tina has some kind of like unknown injury to her knee because she keeps like she is like holding on to that knee when like I was like I didn't see any like it was as if she had been like stabbed or like bashed in the knee with it, but that's her core, like that's where she keeps reaching to every time she has to act scared.
It's a sensitive sexual organ is what we've learned.
You know what? It's so close to the shin.
Yes,
it's so
too close.
And oh my God, the deck is almost like a coffee table. She's ready. Oh my God, she's so ready.
It's right there.
Yeah, well, I think the reason why she's constantly grabbing her knee is in that stunt that happens just after the house blows up and Jason just shows up out of the blue and throws her across the deck. That's actually her.
Oh my God, really?
She decided I'm going to do this stunt, and she comes down right on that knee, and they did it like 8 fucking times.
There you go. That's it. She's actually hurting.
Yeah.
That's a woman in pain.
Yeah.
So Kelly, people should really not notice that.
People should not be hurt for a movie. Ever.
Oh my God. Why that stunt? Why did she choose that stunt?
It looked easy is my guess.
Yeah, she's like, throw me. I don't know, because you're going to throw Nick in the boat.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets backplated. He does a full-on flop into that boat. And this is when we see something, every time I see it, and we've already talked about it a little, I am amazed that it actually happens. Tina calls upon her father, like Aquaman summoning a seahorse. And he just jets up from the bottom of this lake where apparently he has been hanging out in a sweater. Yeah, and just grabs him and drags him to the bottom of Crystal Lake and fade out.
He looks great.
Oh, for a guy in the bottom of the lake for 10 years, he looks fantastic.
Yeah,
Jason looked terrible. He looked great.
He's very well preserved.
He knew exactly what he had to do. He was on it. He looked determined.
Yeah,
yeah.
He was at the starting blocks for however many years he was in that lake.
He pops up. Get the hell away from my daughter.
Oh God.
And then back down he goes. And he goes, Tina, this is my amends.
Forgive me.
So what do you think that like Jason and Tina's dad are just chilling out down there now?
Oh, I hope.
I mean there's no reason. I mean, if they didn't bother, dragging the lake to look for her father the first time around, they're not going to bother with that now, right?
No. Well, as we've learned throughout Friday the 13th, anything that happens below the surface of the water, it's just gone. It just disappears, and we don't worry about it ever again.
Forget it, Jake. It's water.
Crystal Lake.
It's better because it rhymes.
Don't worry about it, Jake. It's Crystal Lake.
I'm just kind of imagining them sitting down there and Tina's dad looking at Jason kind of sternly. Now I've got my eye on you. Yeah. And Jason just sitting there.
Funny business.
And Jason's just sitting there. You fuck you, man. You're not my father.
Well, we also don't know that. We don't know that he's not his father because we don't know who.
That's true.
Jason's father is.
Jason is twins with Tina.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Maybe he's the Roy of this particular universe, and he's the one who started it all.
I laughed out. My last part that I laughed out loud was the fact that Tina and Nick get taken away in a couple's hearse ambulance.
Yes.
I was like, what?
From 1960.
They are in a
There is a
honeymoon
normal
suite.
ambulance.
There's a normal
right
ambulance right
next
there.
to them.
And they're like, you know what? Don't use that one.
No.
They're just like tin cans trailing out from the back.
I was like,
just hurt
what?
together.
What?
And the ending of this was just so lazily written. It was just as an afterthought. It's like, oh wait, we have to establish that Tina and Nick are still alive. So you have Nick with Jason. Like, he just like woke up in the ambulance. It's dawn. It's and then like, what happened? She's like, I took care of it. Credits. It's like, we forgot to actually give this an ending.
Even before that, Tina's like, "Where's Nick? He's fine."
I love that. It was like the best bit of ADR.
Where's Nick? He's fine. Where's Jason? I took care of it. And
also, like, those are things we already know, kind of like that Jason's taken care of. So it was so funny, and I could not tell which paramedic was supposed to be saying he's fine. I hope it was the one with the permed mullet because I love that guy's hair.
That's the first one. I was like, man, that guy's hair is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he used. You know when people use a straightener to curl their hair?
Mm-hmm.
It was like that look. It was like the beach wave look, but only around the neck. It was amazing. Loved that dude's hair.
And as this is the Friday the 13th universe, all paramedics are gross evil people. So one of those three people is a serial killer. Anyone have any guesses as to which one it is?
what?
Wait, is this a real serial killer, like in real life, or is this?
No, in the movies, paramedics are either gross people or they turn out to be serial killers.
Or they're just generally incompetent and lazy at their jobs.
Friday the 13th does not trust first responders.
So one of those people is a serial killer?
Yeah. Which one do you
Or
think
are
it
we
is?
just guessing? I need to know. Is there a future movie where one of those paramedics is a serial killer?
Do we get like a
Or we're
previously
just
on
sort of
where he's carrying away Tina, and then
like,
There's a
we're just
previously
speculating.
on. In part 5, the paramedic turns out to be a serial killer.
Okay. So which one in this would the serial
if you were to
killer be?
guess, because that's just the movie we didn't see.
I was writing down too furiously all of my ha 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 ha's. So I didn't get the best look at the paramedics.
See, I don't know if this I'm feeling like if he is creepy, like a Jerry Brudos vibe, but I don't know.
It's tough to say. It could be the old guy, it could be the overweight guy, and it could be hockey hair.
Tina's dad.
I would say it's the mustachioed gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You can never trust a mustache in the 80s.
No, you really couldn't.
Or now? No, I know some people
I
with
was like
mustaches.
just a mustache. That's generally a shady fellow.
Otherwise, the sunlight would dapple their upper lip.
I think
This is going to be a flame war to some of our guests that have come on the show.
well, that's what I say. It's like in the 80s, I feel like in a movie, the guy with the mustache is maybe not such a good character.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go mustache too.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe mustache.
I'm team mustache.
So proposed, so passed. Let's do what we always do here, and that is play America's least known game show, Choose Your Own Death Venture. And that is, we're going to decide if we had to die in some way that is presented in this film, that being getting an axe to the face, getting sawed in the gut with a branch trimmer, or getting hacked through the back with some sort of sharpened field hockey stick. What would you choose and why? And I choose Kelly to go first.
Okay, I know I was like, do I have to choose from the three that we discussed?
You have to choose from the three.
Okay.
Them's the rules. I did make them up, but those are the rules.
You know what? I think I would choose I want that like weird mystery garden tool in my gut. I think I would choose that to die as the doctor died.
But you're going to have to go cross-eyed.
Listen, I want to leave everybody with a chuckle. That's what I want. I want people to be confused and then amused by my death.
That's right.
And also, like, it didn't seem that bad. Like, it was one of those things where, like, the buildup was so great, and then it was just like, ooh, owie, what are you doing? So I think I choose that. I think I choose that because it did kind of just seem like a fun little joke that you get to do at the end with your eyes crossed.
It's so heard, so passed. Okay, Lindsay, what say you?
So you're telling me I can't be killed by Tina's resurrected father?
No, because Jason isn't truly dead. He's undead.
Okay.
He's been undead
Right.
for a while, so unfortunately it's not
point.
up for bid.
I'm going to go roadhouse kill then.
Okay.
I'm going to go axe to the face, thrown across a room.
You want to die in the air.
You understand you'll be wearing white pants in January in Alabama.
Better. Even better.
It just improved it.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, Gina, what do you have to say?
Even though I'm a delight to every person I meet and warm and kind at all times, I too am going to take Melissa's way out. It's got panache. She kept her personality intact. She didn't blink once. She looked only mildly scared and puzzled at the sight of a 6'5" rotting corpse appearing in the doorway for her. I mean, she just looked like she was, if she had had more than a second or two to live, she would have fired up and fuck you too, before it's just pushing right past him and stomping off to the other house in a snake.
Not my style.
Quite possibly I'm making some sort of lewd remark about how much he clearly wants to fuck her. But, just again, just the style just be flung across the room like you're in a wrestling match. I'm going to take that way out.
I mean, you get to fly, and that's probably the best part about it.
And we come back around to R. Kelly.
That's right.
I didn't think I'd reference that man
I believe
so
I
often in one day.
And I think I'm going to go with Amanda Shepard's death. And here's the reason why. I enjoy being held by the shoulders. I just I find it comforting. It makes me feel like, hey, I want to hold your head in the direction that my head is going in.
I want our heads to be the same.
Yeah. I want you to know what I'm talking about, and I just find that comforting. And I don't think there's any better way to go. No one can convince me otherwise. And as such, that brings us to the end of the podcast. Hey, Lindsay and Kelly, where can people hear and find out more about you?
Well, they can find our podcast, Teen Creeps, on feralaudio.com/Teen Creeps.
Excellent.
Yeah. And we're also on Twitter at Teen Creeps Pod. We each have our own twits and instas.
Yep, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Kelly Nugent. And every Tuesday night you can go to twitch.tv/hyperrpg and watch me do a Buffy RPG at 8:30 p.m. Buffy's old slot.
Excellent. Do it today, people. Check it out. Okay, you can find us in all the usual places: Twitter, Instagram, our Facebook group and page. And as always, the body count continues. Until next time, people, for myself, Gina, Kelly, and Lindsay, bye-bye, everybody.
Jason's coming.
Lindsay's sitting right next to it with her back to a window, too. So I'm like, girl, get away from that window.
Also, Kelly and I are sitting in her living room.
In the
and
dark.
It has gotten dark since we
pitch
started.
Black in here,
It's
and
dark.
I do not care.
It is dark. Kelly is only lit by the light from her laptop.
I can
And
barely
there are
see Lindsay.
candles burning in their office.
Lindsay is sitting in a dark corner, and I can't really see her except for her headphones.
And honestly, it looks like Kelly's mic is a mustache.
Oh no! The mustache has become sentient.
One of us is a killer, and neither of us know who it is.
Oh, so it's like the end of the thing then. You get to see which one is producing. You can see their breath. Let's see. You just sit and wait and see what happens.
It's too hot to see our breath.
It's too hot. My legs are crossed and they're sliding around.
So sweaty.
I'm so sweaty.
We're losing our minds.
We're just sweating in the dark.
Sweating in the dark, talking about Friday the 13th, Part 7.
You're living your best life.
It's our most authentic life. That's for sure.
All right, Patrick, are we on the same time plane?
I would like to think so. I've heard everything that you said and I've enjoyed it.
Okay, because you were like coming in about 5 seconds after we were. Like, we would ask you a question to be silent. So yes, I could hear you. It's like, are we talking via Ouija board? Yeah. We had to wait for you to answer.
Yeah, well, you gave away the twist that's going to be revealed at the end of this podcast. But okay, thanks, Gina. Aww. Kill by Kill is produced by We Write Good and is intended for entertainment purposes only. Friday the 13th is owned by Paramount Pictures. Jason is owned by New Line Cinema. No infringement is intended. Kill by Kill logo was designed by Josh Hollis. Visit him at joshhollis.com. The Kill by Kill theme was created exclusively for us by Revenge Body. Get the whole track and much, much more at revengebodymemphis.bandcamp.com today.